You've just lost power. Do you A, jump up, turn on the generator, and show your entire neighborhood that you've got power? Or B, do you evaluate the situation, figure out just how much energy and power you're going to need to use, and work on a tiered system? Or C, do you pick up everything, pack your bags, and go to a hotel that has power, no matter how far away that is? Or D, pull the covers over your head, go back to sleep, and do nothing until it comes back on, which could be days. Which one are you? Stay tuned and find out exactly how I handle a power outage. This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's Homestead. Last week we lost power. It was off and on. We actually lost it 6 times in one day. I thought I would take you along the journey, so I grabbed the camera and I turned it on and I just started talking about what I was doing. Today, I think we're going to go over all of the video, and I'm going to actually show you what I would have done had it been worse, and show you the layers of power sources that we have prepared for over the last 13 years. Actually, probably, if you want to be honest, since 2000. We've been preparing for power outages before then even. So let's have a fun little chat. Good morning. It is 6:56. I've stayed in bed for an extra hour because you can probably guess we don't have power. So I figured let's do a vlog today. A day in the life on a homestead with no power and how I keep myself busy in what I do. First, I gotta finish getting ready. First thing I actually do when we lose power is look for the reasons why we've lost power. Do my neighbors have power? If they have power and I don't have power, then it's something on my land that's causing me no power. Do my neighbors not have power? Then I look a little bit further. Does the town I live in have power, or is it just a little local power outage like a tree fell on our line? Then I always look on Facebook at the power company's website to see if somebody else has said something. And in this specific case, when I looked on, because it was 4:45 in the morning that we lost power, I looked on their Facebook page and I found out that multiple people in the county didn't have power and everybody was reporting where their power was out. I ended up commenting on one of their posts saying my part of the county is without power also. And they ended up replying to me telling me that it was a power line from their supplier, which was the reason we were without power, and it would be an extended delay. How extended, I didn't know. But I did know that it wasn't something local that needed to be fixed, and it was out of my power company's control, and that I was going to have to wait for the actual power company that supplied my company with power to fix. So in that instance, it might be an extended period of time, so I might want to pick up and do the things that I can do now so I have the time, because it does take a lot more effort. I have the time to implement all of the strategies if it is going to be extended. Thankfully, I didn't have to use any of them, but here's what I did. Lucky for me, it is a warm storm. We had 28 degrees last week, literally less than 5 days ago. And right now, we're probably, let's check the temperature. Oh, I can't check the temperature. There's no power. There you go. It feels like it's 65 in here. Time to make the bed. Let me put my hair up and we'll make the bed. First, I'm gonna go down and get my headlamp. We're gonna have to go into the living room. Come with me. So we have a drawer in the living room where everything is that we would need for an immediate power outage. It's very important for you to be able to walk through your home without the lights on so that you can get to this. This is the first place I go whenever we lose power. It looks like a cute little innocent hall tree, someplace that you put your key, you hang your keys on when you come home, you put your umbrellas from the rain in, but actually it's what's in here that is the most important. So you have a battery operated scanner. So if I needed to look to hear what is going on within the county, you also have 2 flashlights. Again, this one is a high-powered one. This one is also, and this one can go down to a really strong point. And the headlamp. You see me wearing this throughout all of the video that I shot that day. Much better. We can take this guy. Now, this guy runs off of rechargeable batteries. So when he gets low, I just have to open him up and replace the rechargeable batteries. When we get power back on, then I can recharge all of those batteries. I have enough batteries to last me days on this for dark times. You also saw me having to change the batteries once. So I make sure to have a lot of backup rechargeable batteries on hand. I like the Enoloop. Now I have the AAAs and I have the AA's. I keep everything charged and I cycle through them so they evenly get used. Then I also have, because not everything can have a rechargeable battery, right? I also make sure we keep a stock of actual batteries at Costco, and I make sure we go through them as we receive them, and I keep them replenished. So when we use a pack, we buy a pack. And then there's one other thing, a solar powered battery charger. So for the Enoloops, I charge them in the wall, but if I don't have electricity and I need to recharge them because I have gone through with the supply that I have, then I can go to the backup. This also will do various sizes of batteries, and I can just stick it outside somewhere where the sun will hit it and it will do its thing. I was gonna sleep in today, but why bother? I've got stuff to do. Making the bed and then have to go feed the cats because their automatic feeding system does not have a battery backup. Yep, there we go. Oh, there's another mouse. I discovered that Charlie's way of handling the stress of storms, because we have a wicked storm right now, is bringing us mice to throw for him to distract him. It's been priceless. But in the middle of the night, it's not so much fun. So I need to remember that we lost power at 4:55, so 5 o'clock a.m., because that's going to let me know when I need to start the generator to cycle the freezers and the refrigerator. So good to know. Power was at 5, so we've been without power now for 2 hours. The bed is made. I am dressed and ready. My hair is up. It's as good as it's gonna get. We are going to go down and feed the cats because they have an automatic feeder, which means they're an hour past their food time. First, we gotta put the flashlights I used back in place and open up all the windows. That way, when the sun does come up, because it's a warm storm, I'm opening up the windows. But that way, when the sun does come up, we can start using that light rather than other light. Now, if it was a cold storm, I would not be opening the windows because I'd want to keep the heat in. Now, something to think about for long-term purposes. If you were to lose power for a long time and it was cold, how would you heat your home? I mean, that's really a conversation. Had we lost power the week before, it would have been 28 degrees outside, and it was pretty cold in the house, even with the heaters on. So in that case, if we lose power and it's a matter of keeping the household warm, I forget everything else in the rest of the house and I focus on one room in our house, and that happens to be the bedroom. It's different in every house I live in, but for this one, the bedroom makes the most sense. Let's go up there and let me show you why. Because we live in a 2-story house, the hallway is my dead point. The living room cannot be closed off. The dining room and the kitchen cannot be closed off. And the stairs bring all the heat up and in the surrounding areas. You'll notice it's winter, so all of my doors are closed. That's to preserve heat. In order for me to keep one of these rooms here warm, because I only want to keep one room warm, I'm gonna have to choose one of a few rooms, either the office, our craft room, our master bedroom, or the office gym downstairs. The gym downstairs is not very comfortable. Neither of the other two rooms. This is actually going to be the most comfortable room. And bonus, it has a bathroom attached to it. Now the bathroom has a vent that goes outside, and that vent is going to cool that bathroom down like no other when we're trying to keep this place warm, and that place has a vent to the outside. So what I do in that case is I close the door and I put a towel down against the door. I actually have old towels in this closet just for this purpose. I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna roll the towel up and I'm going to push it, making sure that it has a good, it's secure up against the door. That's gonna keep the cold air that's in that bathroom from coming inside here. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure if we're having to hibernate because it's cold, the candle will be up here, it won't be down there. This is also where I'm gonna tell you, be careful of candles because you do wanna make sure you do have proper ventilation. You don't wanna have a candle in a very small area and have a serious life-threatening emergency. But candles do give off some heat, so they do have their purpose. This is actually the place where we would bring our cats or our dogs and they would stay with us. We would let them downstairs for periods of time to get food and go to the restroom and do whatever they needed to do. We would make sure that we do minimal outside activity because we want to keep our bodies warm. Now, we would hibernate up here and we would bring the food up here and basically live up in this room and keep it as warm as possible. For that reason, I put insulated shades in all of the bedrooms up here, just in case that happened. It also is energy efficient for us because when the cold air of the winter comes in the Pacific Northwest, we can close that curtain. Not only do they keep the light out, but they also insulate in between the windows. You can feel the difference when you go to open the window and it's really cold outside. So in those instances where it's really cold outside, I sometimes choose to keep the windows shut so that the cold air from the windows, which are triple paned windows, don't actually come in through into the room and make it colder. We all do things differently. So we're living up here. We have a candle that's heating the room. We actually can turn on some lights. We could bring the Jackery up here. We can go underneath the covers. We have Snuggies for this very purpose. They came out and everybody was buying them. I bought one for each of us because they keep you warm. And if anything that can hold your body heat in, it's not a bad thing. When it's drop dead freezing cold outside and you're cold and you don't have heat to heat your room, they're a good option to curl up underneath the covers and make sure you have that surrounding you. So Snuggies have their purpose, trust me. Now, also, what else has its purpose? Long johns. Each one of us has a bin with winter, sub-zero temperature clothing. Each one of us. So we have our hats. We always wear hats when it's cold outside. And especially if we don't have electricity going on, you wear hats. We have gloves, we have long johns, we have all kinds of thermal wear that we would put on. We do have the option of putting those on if we feel like we need to. The silliest thing of all is make sure you have reading material. I have some books I purposely don't read just because I want to read them if the power goes out. Ironically, I've had them for about 20 years and I still haven't read them because the power still hasn't gone out long enough. We even lost power once for 7 days. But really when the power goes out, it's when I'm the busiest because I'm preparing everything. So now since I'm here feeding them, I might as well take a full thing and fill it up. Since it's my morning chores anyways, might as well start lighting a candle. That way, we need to always make sure you take care of your candles. I need to trim those wicks. This is another reason why I'm organized, because I don't like having to search for things in the dark. So we have a candle going. I will just put that in the middle. Look at that ambiance. We're just gonna call it ambiance, right? Okay. When we lose power and I get my headlamp and the flashlights, is I come down and I always have candles on hand, a good supply of candles on hand. And I always light a candle and I stick it in the centrally located part of the house to where if we get power and it comes back, shuts back off, I can always find my way back to this candle to get light. And for us, that is this kitchen counter that's over here, that literally we put the candle here, it's lit, and it shines all the way in the dining room, the living room, and up the stairs, which goes through the whole hall. So that is the number one thing that I do every time we lose power when we're not asleep, is I make sure I have that candle lit, or I change it out with another candle, so there's always a candle lit right there as long as we are in the house. If you're leaving the house, I obviously turn that off, because no candle should be lit when I'm not in the home. Too many house fires. Not a good thing. Okay, so I'm getting out all of the hand sanitizer and putting it near the sinks where we won't be able to wash our hands because we have no water. When we have no, we're on well. When you're on a well, you have no water. So hand sanitizer is out. If we need to rinse our hands and sanitize them, there you go. I'm also using this as the most amazing moment to dust, because that headlamp shines all of the dust particles. So I've got my dusting rag. I'm going around and I'm just dusting everything as I'm cleaning it all up. It's like the perfect storm, or best use of a storm. I don't eat until 10, so I don't have to worry about food right now. So the one thing that we did get before the electricity went out was my husband had set the coffee pot up to brew, and it brewed a cup of coffee just before we lost power. So I'll pour my coffee in little tiny spurts. Look at that steam. That's so nice. While we think about what to do, I can stock my pantry because that doesn't require any power at all. And the few things that would require power, I could do later. I could set them aside and just do them when the power comes back on. Okay, I gotta get to work. I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I have decided to take the village down, our little Christmas village. Yeah, I brought the tote in for that, and I'm just going to slowly pack that away because I've got the light for it. Might as well utilize the light. So it's been, what, 10 minutes? It's 7:42, and I got Christmas Village all put away. And we're looking at ways of charging appliances to, one, have light, and two, have communication. This is where I'm going to tell you I'm from California, and I'm not ashamed to be from California. But most Californians that have been there for a very long time, we carry something since the 90s. And on forward, we carry something in our purse. Most of us do. I carry a flashlight in my purse. In the 90s, they started what was called rolling blackouts, where there wasn't enough power on the grid in the summer to keep everybody powered, or they would risk the grid. So what happens is we all got assigned a number on our bill, and they would have rolling blackouts. When you're in a store and the power goes off, you need to figure out how to get out. And this was before stores really had backup power sources that could come on. There was a couple times I had to help escort people out of Target. So I still to this day carry a flashlight in my purse. Also in my purse. I carry it with me everywhere, and it's this. It's actually a power bank, and it will charge my phone about 2.5 times. It comes with a USB on one side, and this one, it came with a whole bunch of attachments. I chose the attachment that went with my phone. However, this thing is so old, I have to have an adapter for my phone, because this is the old charger for a Samsung, and this is this type USB-C. So when I want to power my phone, I plug this little guy in here, and I plug this into my phone. It charges my phone once I turn it on, and I've got about 2.5 phone charges on this if it's fully charged. How often is this fully charged? Pretty much all the time, because if I use it, I plug it in and charge it. This is if we have power outages outside, out of the house, or minor little, oh, somebody hit a tree and the power is going to come back on. So say the batteries in my phone died and the batteries in my backup power bank are dead. Like, I've used them all, the power's been out that long. I would go to this right here. Why would I use a drill? Oh, because your drill batteries have attachments, and this is what I would do. For $20, I think the actual name brand one is more like $50. You can buy an adapter that literally attaches to your DeWalt battery. They make them for Ryobi, they make them for all of them. You plug in your USB, you can actually get ones that have electrical outlets, and now you can recharge your phone as much as you want. I mean, until the battery dies. We always have backups of these, and I always have these charged. There's one in use and one fully charged all the time. That's just the way I roll. So, now we have that one, which is a smaller power source, but what happens if the power is a little bit longer, or we need to power something that's a little bit more juice intensive? That's where Jackery comes in at. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the Jackery. This one is a base level entry, the Jackery 240. It will power your laptops, your cell phones, a small light. Basically, you can take it camping with you and keep some things charged up. You can actually use it when you're out in the field for photography to charge your batteries, for drone footage to charge their batteries. You basically can use this camping or home. For us, it does come with a, you can purchase an additional solar panel for it, so you can charge it solar with the sun. For us, we use it as a backup for all of our other backups before we have to fire up the massive generator, but also in tuned with the generator. It will power our phones, it'll power a small light, it will, if we needed to have a laptop for whatever reason, we would use it for that. This would be the first thing that we would drain after we've drained all the other things. So, and then we would continue to charge it with the solar panel that we purchased with it. Now, this one is not expensive at all. People are probably thinking financially they can't afford it. We actually just put this in our arsenal this year. Black Friday had a really great sale on it, so we ended up purchasing it for ourselves on Black Friday. I think it was only a couple $100. I will put the link for it in, and all of the links of everything that we have and what we recommend of what we've used in my preparedness section of my Amazon store. For those of you that do not know, we do have an Amazon store where we share the links to everything that we use on this land. So if you are wondering what we use on this land over the course of the last 13 to 15 years, you can find it all in the Amazon store. But this right here is a magical addition. It took no time at all to fully charge, and I could probably use it solely for my phone for a long time. I mean, literally. I could even put it in my car and charge it with the car charger. Highly recommend this. We do want to get the larger Jackery with additional batteries. That is, we always have a list. We started with the easiest and, you know, some of the least expensive stuff, and we're just moving our way up, and you're coming along for the ride. So it's just starting to get light outside, so I'm able to see the damage that happened overnight. Lots of downed branches, not trees yet that I can see of, but a lot of downed branches that we'll have to clean up, but that's not an emergency. Having another little quarter cup of coffee. There's a lot of flooding, but not anything like I've seen in the past here. So the flooding so far is nothing that I've seen. Yesterday we got 2.2 inches of rain in 24 hours. Our winds are at 25. The beach 2 miles away from us is at 71. So on to my next project. I'm not really sure what it is. I can vacuum because I have a cordless vacuum. And I charged it, ironically, I charged it last night. I could vacuum the downstairs or the upstairs, but I think I might want to save that just in case I drop something. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a long outage. Give me about another hour and we'll start figuring out how to make more coffee. I've already got that working around in my brain. What about coffee? How would you make coffee if you didn't have any electricity? That is so simple. Don't overthink things. This is what I would do. A French press. It's a great way of making coffee. Or you can just boil your water and pour it down into the coffee pot. The whole reason you need power for the coffee pot is to 1, heat the water, and 2, bring it up through the spigot to drop it through the basket. After the hot water hits the basket, there's nothing left for it to do but to make the coffee and pour into the pot. So, how do we make the hot water? That is even easier. And there's multiple ways of doing it. You don't need a generator. Let's not make things complicated until we have to. And we'll start figuring out what to have for breakfast. It looks like it's going to be an egg day. So this is one of the reasons why I so desperately wanted a garage attached to the house. When we have power outages, I can come here and with a simple little propane camp cook stove, I can make anything like flour tortillas, corn tortillas. I can make oatmeal for breakfast. Wouldn't you want to have bacon and eggs for breakfast? You could do that if you had the camp cook stove. And it's just a very simple cook stove, runs on propane heat, and I keep it in the garage along with everything necessary to heat water, the propane cylinders. Let me show you. By now you're probably laughing, going, what? She doesn't camp. Why does she have a camp stove and cylinders? I used to be a huge camper, huge. I have one of these. I actually do use it a lot. I keep it in the box. I keep it in very good condition. I take very good care of it and I don't jostle it around. And I keep a lot of these on hand. This way I can always make a warm meal. There is nothing like taking a jar that we have canned of soups or stews and warming it up with some bread that I have always in the freezer and having a nice warm meal on a very cold day. That's going to sound like heaven to you. So, canisters, which are really expensive these days. Oh my gosh. I used to pay a couple bucks for them. I went and huge, very expensive. And I will link this in there. It has served me very well. Served me extremely well. It's got a big work surface. It's got the little guards so that the wind won't blow it out. Back to talking about how I'm going to make coffee. I'm going to take that cook stove and I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug in a canister. I'm going to fill this with water that I have stored and I'm going to boil my water. And then I'm going to pour it either in my French press or in my coffee pot, whichever one I feel like I want to use. There's my first way of how I'm going to make coffee. Once I make the coffee, I'm going to pour them into thermos made by Nissan thermos carafes that are going to keep my water hot for 24 hours. So whenever I want a cup of coffee, I got it. Now I hear some of you saying, but what happens if you run out of propane? I doubt I'll run out of propane. We each have our own level of comfort of how much gas or propane we should keep on hand. That is your level of comfort. I'm not going to judge you on how much you keep. We don't judge me on how much I keep. But if I do run out of propane or gas or whatever, and I want to have a hot meal and some hot coffee, this is what I'm going to do. Let me show you. We're in chicken country, so you're going to have to hear the chickens. My apologies. Have you ever seen a rocket stove? I always wanted to build one, but I didn't actually have the time. And then I was in a store called Bi-Mart in the Pacific Northwest, and they had these things for $49. I think now you can buy them, it's heavy sucker. You can buy them for $119 on Amazon. If I can find it, I will link it. This thing is amazing. I opened it up, set it up, and you use sticks and pine cones to make your heat, and it comes with, you have to buy for an additional $49, you buy a pot. I highly recommend this, although I did use that water kettle that I just showed you. Put it over the top of it, and lo and behold, in under 11 minutes, I had 6 cups of boiling hot water. Massively boiling hot water. So I highly recommend one of these, because if you run out of all power sources and you can no longer cook food, heat food, and you're still without power, you're always going to be with something warm. Always. As long as you have sticks, pine cones, and dry debris. So yes, I do have a bucket with dry branches that is hidden away in a storage building. I know people must think I'm crazy, but I'm always going to have hot coffee. And I think that matters the most. It is getting lighter out there, and I stopped just to check my notifications, and we are being notified of, let's see, we are going through a high surf warning, a coastal flooding warning, a high wind warning, and rivers going above flood stage. And right now we have road closures coming. So we have several roads in our community that are not passable anymore from downed trees and from high waters. So we have people that are out there that we have a community page. If you live in an area, always look to see if there's a community page, usually scanner pages, community watch pages, things like that. And everybody that's out there is posting what they're finding when they're trying to go do the things that they have to do, because pretty much we're not doing anything we don't have to do. No, it's just a have to do day. And my husband had to go to work, so he replied back with what he saw. But other than that, we have a lot of road closures and a lot of power outages right now. Basically, all of our South County is without power, and that power is coming from, like I said, the main line, which is not us, has nothing to do with our power company. It is 8:10, and we just got power back. So we'll see how long it lasts. I'm gonna start brewing a pot of coffee, because it has been known to go off before. So the lights are flickering. I don't really think it's a stable on for power. So I'm going to go ahead and get that coffee started right now and fill up the water so I have water to drink in case we lose power again. And before I start back on my what I have been doing list, I'm gonna go up and flush the toilet and figure out if there's anything else I need to do quickly while we have power, because we may not have it for long. Okay, coffee is done. It takes about 15 minutes for a pot of coffee to be brewed. I am actually going to pour it into my thermos. It keeps things hot for 24 hours, only because the electricity is still flickering and I really can't trust it. So in my coffee goes. All of it won't fit, but at least I'll have warm coffee. Now, because we are a smart home, I'm gonna have to go through and reset everything, because I'm seeing lights and stuff that were on when the power went off never had the okay to actually turn, never got turned off by the system. At some point in time, I'm going to have to get on the treadmill. I'm waiting just to see if the power will be stable enough for me to get on the treadmill, because I do want to get a workout in, but I also want to get a shower in. Okay, I'm just going to keep organizing right now. Okay, I am going to get on the treadmill. Let's see how long I can last, or how long the power lasts. And hopefully I can get a shower. And then after that, everything is uphill. Everything. So here's to seeing, hoping I can just get to 7,000 steps, and then we'll be fine. Well, I now know what it feels like to be on the treadmill, slightly running, walking at a very fast pace, and having it shut off on you. Yes, I now know. I'm fine. The cats, however, thought it was hilarious. So, I was smart about it. I did leave my phone to be charged, so my phone is at 100% right now. It's 9:24, so we had power for what, an hour and a half? That was fun. I'll be back with another update. I guess I might as well get some sit-ups in and some weights. Okay, I am back. I have organized and cleaned, gone through the drawers, organized, picked up, cleaned where I needed to. I put everything away. I'm going to make some cleaner. I've been making hand soap, refilling all my hand soaps, refilled all of my conditioners and shampoos. And I discovered the water, when the electricity went out this time, the water valve is in the on position, which means that I can slowly, little by little, use a little bit of water if I need to. So I took the opportunity to make some household cleaner. When you don't have electricity and you are on a well, you don't have water. Unless you have a water pump that you can put on top of your well and you hand pump, or you have a hand pump somewhere. I don't have that here yet. It's also on our list. So for us, how I would flush my toilets is I would literally go to the creek that is seasonal, but it's raining outside. I'd either put buckets outside to gather my water to bring it in to flush the toilets, because you can manually flush toilets with a bucket of water. It's not a secret. You take the back of the toilet tank off and put the water, flush it, and put the water down there to replace the water that you used to flush. And then I would refill it and bring it in, and always have a 5-gallon bucket of water sitting next to the toilet. Don't let your children do that. Please don't let your children do that. Don't ask me how I know. Yeah, there you go. Gonna have to start thinking about what to eat. I'm kind of thinking I want to set the stove up in the garage and have some warm eggs. That sounds really good right now. Some fried eggs. Might have to do that. It's that time of day where my headset batteries have conked out. I have been using them 100% while we have no electricity. We still have no electricity. It is now 11:04. It's time for me to start figuring out what to make for breakfast. I'm running out of stuff to do. I have decided. I went into the refrigerator and I'm just going to have yogurt. I picked up because I could open the refrigerator and grab the one item that I needed quickly because I knew where it was stored. And I'm opening a small batch of lilac jelly, just one small container. And that was not in the refrigerator. Once I open it, I'll have to store it in the fridge, but it doesn't have to go in immediately. It just is beautiful. I can wait for the next time that I have to open the refrigerator, or I can just leave it out on the counter for a bit. I mean, it's gonna be okay. So I just stir it up and I'm having lilac jelly yogurt. It is divine. It's lilac vanilla because I put some vanilla in there. And then I'm going to have some of my homemade granola. This will actually keep me full for hours, which is why I chose it, because I won't have to think about anything else. And for dinner, if we still don't have power, we'll definitely have one of the soups, and I'll get the camp stove down and we'll just cook dinner on the camp stove in the garage. And it is 11:15 and we have power back, and I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to eat breakfast and we'll see if we actually have it long enough for me to take a shower. Oh, I will plug my phone in and immediately charge my phone. Okay, I'm gonna go up and take a shower. Let's see if I can make it all the way through with power still on. Here's to hoping. Just because I don't like being stuck in a shower with no windows in a bathroom, I'm gonna light a candle and have it, just in case we lose power. I will be able to get myself out without hurting myself. Thinking ahead. I made it. I made it. It's still raining. It is still windy. The lights flickered several times while I was showering. But I made it. I'm done. Now we can lose power now. I probably shouldn't say that out loud. But okay, I don't know why I'm walking around the house without the lights on, just because why bother turning them on when they're just going to go off again. But no, we had some serious flickage about 20 minutes ago. And it's still coming down strong. Well, at this point in time, it's 1:17, and I'm not resetting that clock on that stove anytime soon. It flickered off at 1:15, at 1:16, it flickered back on at 1:17. It has decided to go off again. We are back in the dark. So, back to work. I never stopped working, but you know, at least I'm showered. That's the bonus. I got to take a shower. Honestly, I'm not quite sure where I left off with you. We have lost power about 6 to 7 times, and we've gotten it back. I'm at the point now where I'm not even setting the oven clock. It can just keep looking at me. And all of the things that say power failure, they can just keep doing it. The storm, it's getting dark outside now, and the rain has picked up like crazy, lightning and thunder. So I'm pretty sure that we're not done with the power outages. I have been very impressed with how they continue to keep attempting to restore it. But we have had power now for the last 2 hours, so I have no concern for the refrigerators and the freezers yet. The deal is you want to think about what's the first line that I'm going to use. Those little power banks are amazing for charging your cell phone, and it'll keep you for a couple hours and of not needing electricity. What's the next thing? And then you just keep going on from there. So what's the last thing? If I'm without power for 5-6 hours, that's when I'm going to fire up my generator. And when I fire the generator, I'm not going to run my whole house. I'm not going to do that, because let's go inside. My only concern is how to make dinner, and I am just going to take a can of soup off a shelf and warm it up, and I already took out the dinner rolls. So I'm going to put these on a plate, let these defrost while I finish working upstairs on a few things. So we were without power off and on all day, and all day I have gotten a ton of stuff done. I did not do anything that would require a lot of electrical use for an extended period of time. Like I didn't do any laundry, no dryer, no bread making, nothing like that. Hopefully I can do that tomorrow. We haven't even covered all of it, or a lot of it. The deal is when you are wanting to be prepared, you're looking for levels of preparedness. For heaven's sakes, people look at me and they're like, I could never afford that. And I'm like, well, I couldn't either. We started with one thing, the little power bank, which was given to us as a gift. We went on to the next thing, the solar chargers for backup batteries and rechargeable batteries, which ended up helping us save money on actual batteries, because pretty much everything here that has rechargeable batteries. We then went on to buying things that were rechargeable. We then moved on to things that would help us charge things. That little $20 outlet on your battery on the drill is amazing. You're looking to start small and to find ways of making yourself comfortable. I wasn't scared. No, I was comfortable. And I got to work, which is what I usually do. I got to work cleaning, doing things. I cleaned my bathrooms. Now, if I had been without power for 5 hours and I felt like my refrigerator and freezers needed to be cycled, I would have fired up the generator and plugged in the freezers and the refrigerator. And I would have enough fuel to be able to do that for the time that it would make me comfortable. What that time is different for everybody. We've talked about that. So that is just how we do it here on the homestead. I don't worry, I don't freak out, I just get to work. Some of the people in this community didn't have power for 2 or 3 days. And that can be kind of scary. We didn't have it for 7 days once, and that is kind of scary. But even back then, we survived. That generator we have had since 2007, and it has served us very well. It would power the whole house if we wanted it to, but the more you plug into it, the harder it's going to run and the more fuel it goes through. So I'm not one of those people that's going to turn my generator on and run every single thing and have the whole house running off of it and living like I'm high on the hog. because I don't know how long I'm going to be without power. And I'm not one of those people that's going to pick up, pack my stuff, and go to the nearest hotel that has power, because I'm not leaving my house when I'm comfortable. And I'm not going to put the blankets over my head, although I did try, but that was not me. I have multiple layers of things that will keep me comfortable for as long as possible and to survive for as long as I have determined is my comfort level. That is the goal. So, what I've shown you, can you take those suggestions of things that I do? You're not going to do them exactly like me. I don't want you to do them exactly like me. I want you to find ways that you can incorporate your own ideas into your household to help you figure out how you can weather a loss of power a little bit more easily every single time. When we lose power, I look at it as a test. I am being tested to see where I have holes and where I have an abundance. And this time, I think I passed it with an A, maybe A minus, maybe A plus. We weren't really without that long for me to have a good judgment of long-term power, but we did really well this time. We did really well this time. Look at your guys' preps, see what you have, see what you need, see what's new out there. What is it that I would add to my preps if I could? I would love to be solar. I would love that. And we have looked into it, we have thought about it. It's just not feasible for us. People are solar out here on the northern Oregon coast, and they do it very well. You would have to have a lot of battery backups, but it can work. It can work, that I know. Is it feasible for us right now? No, not really. What I really want, my next purchase when it comes to electricity or energy, is going to be a larger Jackery system. I like the small one that we have. I like the portableness. I like how I can take it with me whenever I need, but I would like a larger one. And that will come with time. Right? Don't go into debt trying to build your preps. Cash on the barrel, and when you have cash in hand, go the next thing. Make yourself a list of what you want and what makes the most sense for you to get there, and do it slowly by slowly. This is how we did it, and this is how I recommend everybody do it. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, smash any kind of a bell that you need to be notified, and I really appreciate you being here. Again, this is just how we do it. Everybody does it differently. And I'm sure somebody watching this is going to say, oh, well, I would have done it this. We all do things differently. You may have something totally different. Like you may have to keep yourself cool. I've been there. Trust me, I know. I've been there. I can talk about that if you want. We lived in the San Joaquin Valley for many, many decades. And it is totally different living than it is up here. Although sometimes we have had to have some sort of way of cooling ourselves because we don't have AC here at all, and we do get heat waves that are above 100 degrees. With the humidity, makes it unbearable. But everybody is different. Everybody has their own comfort levels, and everybody has their own amount of storage and repeats. There you go. You guys have a great day. But is that bugging you? Is that bugging you?